Morning traffic rushed past Quinteca's towering glass headquarters. The building rose 43 stories into the sky, steel and glass and money, a monument to success. At the front gate, two security guards held a boy by both arms. He was 14 years old, maybe 90 pounds. His clothes were stained and torn. His face was bruised. His hair was matted and dirty. He'd slept on the pavement outside the gate. He did that most nights. Behind the gate, executives in $1,000 suits flooded toward the building entrance, irritated by the disturbance blocking their path. A board member in a gray suit scoffed loudly. "Why is a street rat blocking our entrance?" Another adjusted his tie and laughed. "This is ridiculous. A homeless kid accusing our CFO? We're late for a $180 million signing." The guards shoved the boy back against the metal gate. His shoulder hit the bars hard. Inside the compound, CFO Benjamin Hale stood with his leather briefcase, perfectly calm. Smirking, he looked at the boy like he was an insect. "Go home," Hale said, then paused. "Oh, wait, you don't have one. Stop causing trouble." The executives laughed. The boy lifted his head. His eyes burned, not with anger, but with desperate, terrified determination. His voice cracked. "I'm telling the truth. If you sign that deal, the company will lose everything." More laughter erupted from behind the gate. Someone yelled, "Enough! Push him away from the entrance." The guard began dragging him off the sidewalk. His feet scraped against concrete. But just then, a black Mercedes pulled up to the gate. CEO Elena Ross stepped out. 51 years old, gray suit, sharp eyes. A woman who'd built Quintec from her father's failing startup into a tech empire worth billions. She stopped dead when she saw the boy struggling against the guards. Their eyes met through the bars of the gate. And with the last of his strength, the boy screamed, "Ma'am, your signature is already on the Cayman transfer form. The one you never signed." Everything froze. Executives stopped walking. Hale's smile disappeared. Elena's eyes widened. The boy collapsed against the gate, breathing hard. And Elena Ross, who hadn't hesitated in a boardroom in 20 years, hesitated. This is the story of Kai Mendez, a boy the world stepped over, until the day he saved a fortune no one knew was being stolen. This is a story about truth, about how it can come from the most unexpected person, about how the voices we ignore, the people we step over, dismiss, forget, sometimes carry the warnings that could save us. It's about power and powerlessness, and the moment when someone decides that being heard matters more than being safe. Before we dive into Kai's story, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We share stories about justice, courage, and the people who refuse to stay invisible, even when the world wants them to disappear. Drop a comment below. Where are you watching from? We'd love to hear from you. Now, let's go back to the beginning. Kai Mendez was 14 years old. He'd been homeless for 2 years. Before that, he had a mother, a small apartment, textbooks on the kitchen table. His mother, Rosa, was a paralegal. She worked long hours at a small law firm, bringing home case files she'd studied late into the night. And she taught Kai to read them with her. "Look at this, Mijo," she'd say, pointing to contracts, depositions, legal briefs. "See how they hide things in language? How one word can change everything." Kai learned to read legal documents the way other kids learn to read comic books. He learned to spot inconsistencies, forged signatures, hidden clauses. His mother was brilliant, and she wanted Kai to be brilliant too. But when Kai was 12, she got sick. Cancer, stage 4, no insurance. She tried to fight it while working full-time, but her body gave out. Kai watched her die in a county hospital bed, holding his hand. Her last words, "When you see wrong, speak up, even if your voice shakes." After she died, social services tried to place him. But his father, a man he barely remembered, was listed as his legal guardian. They searched for him, never found him. Kai bounced between temporary homes, foster families who didn't want him, group homes where older kids stole his clothes. After 6 months, he ran. He'd rather sleep on the street than in a place that felt like a cage. So he ended up outside Quinteca's headquarters. Because the area was clean, well lit, security cameras everywhere, which meant fewer dangerous people. He slept in a cardboard shelter behind a dumpster. He collected bottles and cans to buy food. He watched employees come and go. And he survived. But he was invisible. People walked past him every day and never saw him. Until the day he saw something they didn't. Benjamin Hale was the chief financial officer of Quintech. 48 years old. Expensive suits. Perfect hair. A smile that never reached his eyes. He'd climbed from poverty to power, and he was proud of it. He grew up in a trailer park, worked his way through state school, got an MBA through night classes while working 2 jobs. He earned every dollar, and he decided, somewhere along the way, that the world only rewarded sharks. So he became one. He was brilliant with numbers, ruthless in negotiations, willing to do whatever it took to win. Quintech hired him 5 years ago to streamline operations, which meant cutting costs, firing people, maximizing profit. He was good at his job. Too good. Because somewhere in those 5 years, Benjamin Hale stopped being satisfied with his 7-figure salary. He wanted more, and he found a way to take it. Offshore accounts, shell companies, forged signatures, $180 million hidden in a partnership deal with a fake tech firm in the Cayman Islands. Once the CEO signed the transfer authorization, the money would move and disappear. And by the time anyone noticed, Hale would be gone, living on a beach somewhere, far beyond the reach of American law. He planned it perfectly, every detail, every contingency, except one. He never expected a homeless kid to be smarter than he was. Elena Ross built Quintech from the ground up. Well, technically, her father started it. A small software company in the 90s that nearly went bankrupt twice. But Elena, who had a degree in electrical engineering and an instinct for business, saved it. She took over at 29. By 35, she turned it into a billion-dollar company. Now, at 51, Quintech employed 8,000 people across 12 countries. Elena was brilliant, driven, focused, but she was also emotionally distant. She trusted numbers more than people. She delegated operations to Hale because he was efficient, effective, and never caused problems. She didn't realize that his efficiency came from deception, that his reports were carefully constructed lies, that the person she trusted most was systematically destroying everything she'd built. She almost missed it. Almost. Because she'd started noticing small things. Numbers that didn't quite add up. Transactions that seemed unnecessarily complicated. But she told herself she was overthinking. That Hale knew what he was doing. That questioning him would make her look paranoid. So she stayed quiet. And that silence almost cost her everything. Marcus was a security guard at Quintech. 52 years old. 20 years on the job. A kind man who'd become tired. He'd noticed Kai months ago. The kid sleeping outside the gate. Collecting cans. Staying out of trouble. Marcus started leaving food for him. Leftover sandwiches. Bottled water. Never said much. Just nodded. Kai nodded back. It was a quiet understanding. But then Benjamin Hale approached Marcus one night. Offered him $5,000. To not notice late-night deliveries. To ignore people coming and going after hours. Marcus needed the money. His daughter had a rare blood disorder. Treatments cost thousands. Insurance didn't cover it all. So he took Hale's money and stopped looking Kai in the eye. Because he knew something wrong was happening. But he was too afraid to do anything about it. And when Kai needed him most, Marcus would have to choose between his conscience and his daughter's life. Kai woke up at 5:30 a.m. The sun hadn't risen yet. The city was gray and cold. He folded his cardboard shelter carefully. Someone had thrown it away once, and he'd had to rebuild from scratch. He washed his face in a public fountain 2 blocks away. Used the bathroom at a 24-hour gas station. Came back to his spot behind the Quintech dumpster and waited. At 6 a.m., the first employees arrived. Kai watched them. He knew their routines. The woman in the red coat always arrived early. She looked tired, probably a single mother. The man in the blue suit parked in the same spot every day. He talked loudly on his phone, always stressed. The intern with the messy bun always dropped something. Papers, keys, coffee. Kai had learned their patterns, not because he cared about their lives, but because invisibility required attention. If you knew when people weren't looking, you could move without being seen. At 7 a.m., Kai started his work. He collected bottles and cans from the surrounding blocks. Each one was worth 5 cents. He needed $20 for food. That meant 400 cans. It usually took him until noon. But today something changed. At 8:15 a.m., Benjamin Hale's black Audi pulled up to the gate. Kai was near the entrance, organizing his collected cans into a plastic bag. Hale got out of his car, saw Kai. His expression shifted, disgust mixed with irritation. "You, kid." Kai looked up. "You're always here. You know that." Kai said nothing. "You're bad for optics. Do you know what that means?" "Yes, sir." "Then move." "I'm on the public sidewalk, sir." "I'm not." Hale walked forward and kicked Kai's cardboard box. It tumbled into the street. Cans scattered everywhere. Cars honked. One ran over the box, crushing it flat. Kai stared at the destroyed box. 2 months of careful construction. Gone. Hale adjusted his tie. "Stay away from my building." He walked through the gate. Marcus stood nearby. He'd seen the whole thing. He looked at Kai. Kai looked back. Marcus said nothing and walked away. Kai knelt in the street, gathering crushed cans with shaking hands. Not from fear, from humiliation, from the weight of being treated like garbage by people who'd never know what it felt like. But as he picked up the cans, he saw something, a leather folder, lying in the gutter near the storm drain. It must have fallen from Hale's briefcase when he got out of his car. Kai looked around. No one was watching. He picked it up. Kai carried the folder back to his spot behind the dumpster. He opened it carefully. Inside, financial documents. Pages of numbers, codes, signatures. Most people wouldn't have understood any of it. But Kai wasn't most people. His mother had taught him to read documents like this. And as he scanned the pages, his blood went cold. Came an account transfer, $180 million. Authorization signature, Elena Ross, CO. But there were 2 signatures. One was a scan, probably the real one, from an old document. The other was layered on top. Slightly different angle, different pen pressure. Forged. Kai's hands trembled. He didn't fully understand the mechanics of offshore accounts or shell companies. But he understood forgery. He understood theft. And he understood that someone was about to steal $180 million. He had to tell someone. But who would believe a homeless kid? Benjamin Hale realized his folder was missing at 10 a.m. He was in his office, preparing for the contract signing that afternoon. He reached for the folder. It wasn't there. Panic flashed across his face. He checked his briefcase, his car, his desk. Nothing. He called Marcus. "Did you see anyone near my car this morning?" Marcus hesitated. "Just the kid. The homeless one. He was picking up cans." Hale's eyes went cold. "Find him. Now." Kai stood outside the Quintec gate at noon. Employees streamed past on their lunch break. He tried to stop them. "Excuse me, please. I need to talk to someone about." They walked past without looking. "Please, there's something wrong with the contract." A woman in a blazer glanced at him with pity. "Sorry, I don't have any change. I'm not asking for money. I need to." She was already gone. Kai tried again and again. Every time the same result. No one listened. No one even slowed down. To them, he was just noise. Just another homeless kid begging for something. Finally, the intern, the one with the messy bun, stopped. "Are you okay?" Kai's voice cracked. "I found something. Documents. Someone stealing money from the company. A lot of money." She looked uncomfortable. Maybe you should talk to security about that. They won't listen to me. I'm sorry. I have to go." She walked away quickly. Kai stood alone at the gate. Invisible again. That evening, Marcus found Kai behind the dumpster. "Kid, we need to talk." Kai looked up. Marcus sat down heavily beside him. "Hale's looking for you. Says you took something of his." "I didn't steal it. He dropped it." "Doesn't matter. He wants it back." Kai pulled the folder from under his cardboard. "Marcus, this is fraud. He's stealing from the company." Marcus looked at the documents. His face went pale. "Kid, you can't get involved in this. Someone has to. Not you. You're 14. You're homeless. You have no power here. Then help me." Marcus stood up slowly. "I can't." "Why not?" "Because I have a daughter, and she's sick, and I can't afford to lose this job." He looked down at Kai. "I'm sorry," and he walked away. Kai sat alone in the dark, holding a folder that proved a crime, that no one would believe he found. The next morning, Benjamin Hale walked straight to Kai's spot. He stood over him, calm, smiling. You have something of mine. Kai stood up slowly. I know what you're doing. Hale laughed. You know? You know what exactly? You're stealing money. $180 million. You forged the CEO's signature. Hale's smile didn't waver. And who's going to believe you? Silence. You're a homeless kid. No family. No home. No credibility. He leaned closer. I could have you arrested for theft right now. Or I could just make you disappear. Do you know how easy that is? How many homeless kids go missing every year and no one even notices? Kai's hand shook, but he didn't back down. I'm not giving you the folder. Hale's smile finally faded. You have until tomorrow. Return it, or I'll make sure you regret it. He walked away. Kai collapsed against the dumpster, shaking, terrified, but still holding the folder. That night, Kai sat under a bridge. Rain poured down. He held the folder, now wrapped in plastic to protect it. He could throw it away. Forget he ever saw it. Stay invisible and safe. Or he could do what his mother taught him. Speak up, even when his voice shook. Even when no one believed him. Even when it cost him everything. He thought about her last words. And he made his choice. The next morning, Kai walked to the Quintet gate. The contract signing was scheduled for 9 a.m. He had one chance. One moment to be heard. Or he'd lose everything. At 8:45 a.m., executives began arriving for the signing. Board members, lawyers, investors, everyone was there. Kai pushed through the crowd, gathering outside the gate. Please, I need to talk to someone. Security grabbed him immediately. Kid, back off. This is private property. There's fraud. Someone's stealing money. The executives laughed. A homeless kid accusing our CFO? This is ridiculous. We're late for a $180 million deal. The guard shoved Kai back against the gate. His shoulder hit the metal bars. Inside, Benjamin Hale stood with his briefcase. Smirking. Go home. Oh, wait, you don't have one. More laughter. Kai felt his chest tighten. This was it. His last chance. And then he saw her. Elena Ross. Stepping out of her Mercedes. Their eyes met through the bars. And Kai screamed with everything he had left. Ma'am, your signature is already on the Cayman transfer form. The one you never signed. Everything stopped. The laughter died. Hale's face went white. Elena walked slowly toward the gate. What did you just say? Kai's voice trembled. The contract Mr. Hale is about to have you sign. Your signature is already on it. But you didn't sign it. He forged it. Elena looked at Hale, then back at Kai. How would you possibly know that? Kai held up the folder. He dropped this. I found it. I can prove it. Elena's voice cut through the crowd. Bring him inside. The executives erupted in protest. Elena, this is insane. We don't have time for. He's just a street kid trying to. I said bring him inside. Security hesitated, then opened the gate. Kai walked through. Every eye was on him. Dirty clothes, bruised face, clutching a water-stained folder. They walked into the building, into a conference room with glass walls and leather chairs. Elena sat at the head of the table. Show me. Kai opened the folder with shaking hands. He laid out the documents. This is the transfer authorization. Your signature is here. But if you look closely, he pointed to subtle differences. The pen pressure is inconsistent. The angle is slightly off. It's a digital forgery layered over a scanned signature from another document. Elena examined it closely. Her face went hard. She pulled out her phone. Get forensics up here. Now. Hale, try to maintain composure. Elena, this is absurd. You're going to trust a homeless kid over me. Elena looked at him. I'm going to trust evidence. 10 minutes later, forensic analysis confirmed it. The signature was forged. The Cayman account was fake. The entire deal was a setup to steal $180 million. Elena's voice was ice. Benjamin Hale, you're terminated. Security will escort you out. The police are on their way. Hale's mask finally cracked. You're making a mistake. The only mistake I made was trusting you. As security took him away, Hale looked at Kai, not with anger, with disbelief, that a homeless kid had destroyed him. After Hale was gone, Elena turned to Kai. How did you know how to read those documents? My mother. She was a paralegal. She taught me. Where is she now? She died 2 years ago. Elena was quiet for a long moment. What's your name? Kai. Kai Mendez. Kai, you just saved this company from catastrophic fraud. You saved 8,000 jobs. You saved everything my father built. She stood. I'm going to make sure you're taken care of. Housing, food, education, whatever you need. Kai's eyes filled with tears. I don't want people to lose everything. Like I did. Elena knelt down to his level. You're not going to lose anything ever again. I promise. Later that day, Marcus found Kai in the company cafeteria. Kai was eating his first real meal in weeks. Marcus sat down across from him. I'm sorry. Kai looked up. I should have helped you. I should have believed you. I was scared, and I let you down. Kai was quiet. My daughter, she needs treatments I can't afford. And I thought if I kept quiet, I could keep my job and keep helping her. But I realized something. If I teach her that staying silent when something's wrong is okay, then I'm not helping her. I'm failing her. Tears ran down Marcus's face. I'm so sorry, kid. Kai reached across the table and put his hand on Marcus's. It's okay. You were trying to protect someone you love. I understand that. Marcus broke down completely. And Kai, who had every reason to hate him, forgave him. 6 months later, Kai stood in front of Quintech headquarters. But this time, he wasn't sleeping outside. He was walking through the front door. Elena had arranged everything. Temporary housing in a safe apartment building. A full scholarship to a private school. Therapy to help him process his trauma. And a part-time job shadowing program at Quintech, learning business, finance, and law. Kai was still quiet, still observant, but he was no longer invisible. Employees knew his name now. They asked how he was doing. They treated him like he mattered, because he did. And every morning, when Kai walked past the spot where he used to sleep, he remembered what his mother taught him. When you see wrong, speak up, even if your voice shakes, even if no one believes you, even if it costs you everything. Because sometimes, your voice is the only thing standing between justice and catastrophe. In a world that stepped over him, Kai's voice, small, shaking, and ignored, saved a fortune. He proved that power isn't about money or position. It's about courage, about refusing to stay silent when silence means letting evil win. The people we overlook, the ones we dismiss, ignore, step over, they see more than we think. They know more than we realize. And sometimes, the most powerful person in the room is the one no one bothered to look at until it was almost too late. If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about courage, justice, and people who refuse to be invisible. Drop a comment. Where are you watching from? And have you ever spoken up when everyone told you to stay quiet? We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, your voice matters. Don't let anyone tell you it doesn't.